Welcome to New England and to the state of Connecticut, a region often considered the birthplace of America. Connecticut was the fifth territory to ratify the United States Constitution and the first state from the New England region to join the Union. Connecticut is shaped by geography as much as it's shaped by history. With more than 100 miles of coastline, it carries a strong maritime legacy along the Long Island Sound. Beyond the shore, rolling hills and mountainous terrains showcase their seasonal beauty, helping define the classic character of New England. At the heart of it all flows the Connecticut River, a powerful body of water that carved its central valleys and divided the state in two, emptying into the Long Island Sound near New York City. Hi, I'm Jose, and this is Hartford, the capital region of Connecticut and one of the oldest areas in the state. On this tour, we'll explore the fascinating history of this vital New England hub, from the old State House to America's first publicly funded park, Bushnell Park. Hartford is a city rich with stories that help shape Connecticut and the rest of the nation. We'll visit some of the most iconic landmarks in the greater Hartford area, places that inspired literary legends, fueled industrial innovation, and established Connecticut as one of America's great pioneering states. So let's go on tour to the state of Connecticut and to the capital area of Hartford. The city of Hartford, a city with history that stretches back thousands of years. Long before European settlement, this land was inhabited by Native American tribes belonging to the Algonquin Confederacy, one of the largest indigenous cultural groups in North America, spanning from present-day Quebec to the Carolinas. Hartford first came into contact with European settlers in the early 1600s. Dutch explorer Adrian Block expanded the settlements of New Netherland along the Connecticut River, helping shape what we now recognize as the tri-state region of New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut. The Dutch established Fort Good Hope, a small but strategic trading post focused primarily on fur trade. The settlement was eventually abandoned, opening the door for English settlers to take control. The Hartford we know today was officially established in 1635 by Puritans fleeing the overcrowded Massachusetts Bay Colony. Among them was Reverend Thomas Hooker, an influential preacher whose ideas helped shape the early political and religious foundations of New England. Hooker became the first minister of Cambridge and later inspired the Fundamental Orders of Connecticut, often regarded as the world's first written democratic constitution and a blueprint that would later influence the United States Constitution itself. Following its establishment, Hartford evolved into a center of innovation and industry, playing a critical role in the development of the American system of manufacturing and standing as one of the earliest pillars of the Industrial Revolution. Welcome to an early winter morning along the Connecticut River, where it meets the skyline and the waterfront of Hartford. The Connecticut River was the lifeline of Hartford's origins, shaping one of America's most fertile agricultural regions. It flows more than 400 miles from Quebec, Canada, through 4 New England states and empties at Connecticut's southern edge. Beginning in the 1990s, Hartford's revitalization focused on reclaiming the Connecticut River's banks for public use, reconnecting the city to the waterfront that gave it life. At the entrance to the Riverfront Plaza stands a statue of Abraham Lincoln meeting Harriet Beecher Stowe, the Connecticut-born author and abolitionist. Lincoln famously greeted her as the little woman who started the Great War, in reference to her powerful anti-slavery novel, Uncle Tom's Cabin. On this cold winter morning, the riverfront offers a quiet gateway into the city as Hartford prepares to ring in a new year. As we move into downtown Hartford, we encounter some of the city's most compelling architecture. Among them is the Wadsworth Atheneum Museum of Art, the oldest continually operating public art museum in the country. Nearby, the colorful storefronts of the Pratt Street Historic District offer a glimpse into the city's past, preserving a 20th century streetscape surrounded by buildings dating from the early 1800s through the mid-1900s. While Hartford's rise in history has been a fascinating journey, it hasn't always been an upward path. Like many American cities built on industrial strength, Hartford prospered during the manufacturing era, only to face hardship as those industries declined. In the mid-20th century, a series of highway projects cut through the city, isolating neighborhoods, destroying historic buildings, and cutting access to the Connecticut River, impacting the city's maritime recreation and economic vitality. By the 1990s, Hartford had undergone a dramatic transformation from one of America's wealthiest cities to a capital struggling with poverty, crime, and population decline. Many residents fled to its suburban counterparts of East and West Hartford. The early 2000s marked the beginning of a rebound for the city. Crime rates steadily fell, reaching near historic lows in the 2020s. Efforts of urban revitalization, including Pratt Street and the riverfront parks, restored public spaces, drawing back people to the heart of the city. Let's explore the diverse culinary culture found inside Parkville Market. Parkville Market is filled with Hartford locals, eager to experience the flavors of more than 20 different restaurants. The market is a place to unwind, to discover great food, while catching a game or enjoying the atmosphere. Parkville Market was the vision of founder Carlos Malta, who transformed the former warehouse of Bishop's Ladder Company into one of Hartford's most vibrant destinations. From the second-floor balcony, I look on at the flags of soccer clubs and bold restaurant signage, sparking curiosity and an appetite to sample a variety of cuisines. From Asian and Middle Eastern to flavors from across Latin America, the Caribbean, and Italy, there's no shortage of dishes to explore. As I wander throughout the market, I'm drawn to a crowd around a Brazilian restaurant, where I settle for a colorful plate of yuca fries, fresh peppers, and steak, a perfect taste of Hartford's global food scene. Fantastic. Parkville Market is the perfect place to fuel up before heading to one of America's most exquisite state capitol buildings. The intricate details adorning its exterior honor Connecticut's leaders and legacy. Etched with more than a dozen carved scenes, it illustrates the state's history. The Connecticut State Capitol, often considered one of the most beautiful state houses in the nation. It stands as both a monument and a storyteller, and crowned by a stunning golden dome that rises above the city skyline. The Connecticut State Capitol, one of the most fascinating landmarks in Hartford. It opened in 1879 and quickly earned the recognition of one of the most beautiful Capitol buildings in the nation. The European-styled structure reflects Connecticut's deep English roots, designed in the high Victorian tradition. Its architecture blends elements of East Lake style and Second Empire design, along with influences from French and Gothic revival. It creates a building as ornate as it is symbolic. Join me on a tour of the Connecticut State Capitol, the majestic building that rises from the former Trinity Hill, adjacent to Bushnell Park. Stepping inside reveals an interior rich in detail, with marble floors and brass railings, conveying a sense of grandeur. This rotunda is amazing. This is the genius of Connecticut. She's the protector of the state. There's two statues within the Capitol building. The original statue, which is laid atop the dome, and this replica that was made in 2009. It's amazing. Atop the Capitol's iconic dome once stood the genius of Connecticut, a powerful symbol of the spirit of the state and its people. Designed by sculptor Randolph Rogers, the original bronze statue measured nearly 18 feet tall and watched over the Capitol from 1878 until the Great New England Hurricane of 1938, considered the most powerful and deadly hurricane to ever strike New England. At the east entrance corridor stands a life-size statue of one of America's earliest Revolutionary War heroes, Nathan Hale. A 10-foot-tall bronze sculpture honors the schoolteacher who was captured and hanged by the British after being discovered as a spy for the Continental Army. Throughout the building, the Capitol's interior radiates history and elegance. 5 stories of courtyards and balconies allow visitors to look down across the chambers below or gaze upward toward the glass ceilings above. The building was designed by architect Richard Upjohn and completed in 1878. Upjohn specialized in the high Victorian Gothic style, drawing inspiration from medieval architecture and applying it to churches and civic buildings throughout the Northeast. His most famous work remains Trinity Church in New York City. The Connecticut State Capitol stands as a powerful symbol of governance, history, and civic identity, housing the legislative and executive branches, the governor's office, and a series of monuments honoring the individuals who helped shape and found the Constitution state. Hartford is an underrated gem of a city whose influence has reached far beyond being a state capital. From the father of American literature, author Mark Twain, who wrote many of his most famous works while living here, to being the birthplace of award-winning actress Katharine Hepburn, financier J.P. Morgan, and Samuel Colt, the inventor of the Colt revolver, Hartford has produced and attracted some of America's most influential figures. This New England city became a place of legends through its industrial strength and thriving businesses. It earned the nickname the insurance capital of the world, with companies like Aetna Health Insurance and Travelers Car Insurance basing their headquarters in the city. The story of Connecticut is the story of an early innovator in a young nation. Just across from the state capitol stands the Museum of Connecticut History, where its past comes to life. At the entrance of Memorial Hall, a detailed scale model of the USS Connecticut greets visitors, the flagship of the Atlantic Fleet. Memorial Hall serves as the heart of the museum, where visitors discover the state's legacy, while the towering walls are lined with portraits of Connecticut's governors. But my curiosity leads me back to the USS Connecticut, the lead ship among 6 pre-dreadnought battleships, commissioned as the most advanced vessel in the U.S. Navy at the time. At the center of the hall is one of Connecticut's most treasured artifacts, the Charter Oak document. King Charles II granted royal approval to the Fundamental Orders of Connecticut, only to attempt to revoke it nearly 25 years later. Connecticut also became deeply connected to the women's suffrage movement. Frances Ellen Burr emerged as one of the state's earliest suffrage activists. One of Connecticut's most monumental legacies comes through innovation in firearms, led by inventor and industrial pioneer Samuel Colt. In 1836, Colt patented a revolutionary mechanism, the revolving cylinder, allowing a firearm to be fired multiple times without reloading. Colt established his firearms factory in Hartford, a facility that still stands today. At its height, it was the largest private armament factory in the world, an invention that would permanently reshape the course of global history. Before Colt's revolving cylinder, most firearms were single-shot, muzzle-loading weapons, requiring manual reloading after each discharge. The glass displays guide us through the evolution of firearms, from early revolvers to automatic pistols and even revolving shotguns. In the final gallery, we arrive at the Supreme Court room, where portraits of former Chief Justices line the walls. A true temple of justice, rich in symbolism and elegance, and a fitting conclusion for any lover of American history. During these cold winter days, when snow blankets the pathways, gardens, and the last remaining leaves on bare branches, I follow the quiet trails that lead me to the home of Samuel Longhorn Clemens, best known to the world as Mark Twain, often called the father of American literature. Today, his home stands as a living museum, welcoming visitors from around the world who come to study and experience what remains of his life's work. One of the earliest adopters of colloquial American language, Mark Twain reshaped literature in a way that forever changed how stories were told. Classic works like The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, which captured America's idolized vision of boyhood, and The Prince and the Pauper, exploring themes of identity and appearance versus reality. But Twain's most influential work became The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, told through the voice of a young protagonist and grounded in realistic dialects, giving his stories unmatched authenticity. Born in Missouri, Mark Twain moved to Hartford in 1871, seeking proximity to the city's vibrant literary community. At the time, Hartford was a thriving intellectual center, home to more than 24 publishing houses that anchored the city's cultural influence and fostered an atmosphere of creativity. It was here, in Hartford, that Mark Twain entered the most prolific chapter of his life, writing many of his greatest works and securing his place in the foundation of American literature. As the winds of history shift, they carry us into a more modern chapter, the town of West Hartford, a suburb of Hartford known for its vibrant town center, full of locals making their last round of shopping as the holiday season comes to a close. With single-digit temperatures and winds that feel sharp and biting, I bundle up and explore this fascinating corner of Hartford County, the place where city style meets village charm. West Hartford is home to hundreds of local boutiques and restaurants, remaining lively even in winter, an atmosphere I can easily imagine transforming into something electric during the warmer months. West Hartford began as an extension of the capital city, founded by the children and descendants of Hartford's original settlers. Once farmland, the area's earliest known settler, Stephen Osmer, built a sawmill along Trout Brook, laying the groundwork for the town's future. As we arrive at Blueback Square, we're greeted by a striking statue of Noah Webster, a West Hartford native and one of the most influential figures in American education and scholarships. Webster's work would later evolve into the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, one of the most widely sold books in American history and a cornerstone of the written American language. The statue stands in front of the Noah Webster Library, whose exterior panels feature powerful artwork honoring civil rights visionaries and using art as a form of expression, remembrance, and reflection. Walking through this alley, I find myself deeply inspired, influenced by the creative legacy that runs through Hartford County, a region shaped by storytellers and icons, from Mark Twain and Noah Webster to Harriet Beecher Stowe, and modern authors like Susan Collins, creator of The Hunger Games, and Stephenie Meyer, author of the Twilight series. It's a legacy that motivates me to put pen to paper and continue the tradition of bringing America to life through storytelling. As majestic and beautiful as the state capitol building is, it wasn't always Connecticut's first state house. For many years, Hartford was one of two state capitals, the other being New Haven. This dual capital system helped maintain a balance of power between the northern and southern regions of the state. Hartford ultimately became Connecticut's sole capital in 1873, bringing an end to the shared system of governance, much of which had taken place inside the old State House. From 1796 to 1878, the old State House served as the primary center of government before being replaced by the current Capitol building. The final piece in this fitting puzzle to understanding New England and the history of Connecticut is the Old State House, one of the oldest state houses in the country. The Connecticut Old State House was designed to resemble the Town Hall of Liverpool, England, a direct architectural connection to the state's British roots. The nostalgic scent of aged wood, creaking floors, and vintage exhibits guide us through the timeline of Connecticut's fascinating past. From the men and women who served in the state's armed forces, to remnants of the Amistad trial, which became a case of unlawful enslavement. The Old State House stands as a monument to legacy, a collection of stories from Hartford and the rest of the state. Here, we encounter inventions that helped shape the modern world. Portable typewriters, the first payphone, patents for the sewing machine, and even early submarine designs, all preserved within this museum of astonishing artifacts. Rows of colorful license plates tell a quieter story, one of progress and change, reflecting Connecticut's evolution. The museum's lower levels are dedicated to early pioneers who introduced technologies that accelerated the country's development. Taking center stage in the Inventors Gallery is Hartford's Steam Pumper No. 1, a fire engine over a century old. This remarkable machine once helped pump floodwaters from buildings along Trumbull Street during the devastating flood of 1936. One of the most unique exhibits is the towering high-wheeler bicycle, where I see myself as a kid again, going for a spin. The Pope Manufacturing Company turned Hartford into the bicycle capital of the world. By the 20th century, it had become the largest bicycle manufacturer in the United States. Heading towards the second floor, the Statue of Justice takes center stage. Once perched atop the State House clock tower, it symbolized the judicial role this building served. The old State House was the second to operate in Connecticut, a successor to the original State House, and within its walls unfolded some of the state's most consequential debates. Cases like the protested War of 1812, as 5 New England states discussed seceding from the Union to avoid economic and regional collapse. This building is a living embodiment of Hartford's influence on the American story, a pillar in the foundation of New England itself. The State House and the Connecticut State Capitol serve as anchor points on a broader journey. A truly breathtaking city and state, best understood by studying its story, its innovations, and its lasting impact on the American narrative. As temperatures drop below freezing, the community comes alive to warm Bushnell Park and celebrate the turning of another year. Residents gather to enjoy the food, experience games and live music, and represent their city with unmistakable pride. Strolling through this scene and witnessing people bonding with one another helps me better understand the story of this once great city. A city that has known both highs and lows, yet remains a place of influence, a pioneer, and a leader within the great region of New England. The area of Hartford has been an incredible journey through the history of Connecticut. From its iconic industries, leaders, and innovators, to the museums and state grounds that became the heartbeat of a growing region. Hartford cemented its place among the 13 colonies and grew into an essential piece of the American story. It's a city that reveals every layer of the country's fabric, from pre- and post-European history through the rise of industrial revolutions and the triumphs and struggles of manufacturing. Today, Hartford is shaped by resilience, reinvention, and legacy, paving the way for an even more compelling future. I'm Jose, and I thank you for joining me on this tour of Hartford, Connecticut. Until next time.